Alright, welcome back to another Play and Explain. Gotten some more viewers since or subscribers I guess, since I posted my last video, so gonna be a little more cognizant of revealing too much information. Like, obviously trying to still like provide good content, but I can't say anything that's like, I play in a pretty small pool, so I don't think I'm gonna talk too much about individual players in this video, or really anymore in general. And I'll still talk about like general fish exploits and rig exploits and certain things. Um, and then yeah, gonna try and play a little bit more standard, and not do some of my Actually, I might still do some general exploits that I think are profitable because yeah, I still need to still post videos. I'm gonna post videos. I'm still gonna post decent videos. But yeah, I saw some criticism, not criticism, but advice to play 4 tables, and I think I might give that a shot for a video. So let me know if you guys prefer 4 or 6 tables. However, right now there's 6 good games running, and I felt like recording, and I haven't recorded in a week, so I decided I was gonna post. But yeah, if someone wants to see a video with 4 tables next time only 4 are running, I'll be sure to record them. Gonna plan on posting once every like 3 days. I think I can do that sustainably. So that's the plan. I think every day is just too much for 40-minute videos, which is kind of what I post. But yeah, A6 gonna be opening. I'm a little rusty theoretically, so bear with me. But yeah. A6 here is supposed to be pure folded. Um, the question is versus player, is there a reason to believe that I shouldn't? And I think not big enough for, especially while recording a video, to deviate that much. Not squeezing here unless I have an insane reason. Also playing with the HUD disabled now. Ace Deuce is the only one that folds out of these, but if you're playing at a table with a recreational, I can probably swing it. I guess here I'll just go to like 8, like 10. I don't mind going bigger. Because now it's like, what do I do? Probably just lose, but I guess we just check and call. I don't think we can bet and get called by worse. We need like 32. Certainly, probably not with the spade, is there, right? Wow. Yeah, you could probably argue fold. I think fold actually would make a lot of sense there. I don't think the fish are always going to put in the money. In my mind, with the spade, what did we need? Like 20 something% equity, and like the odds that I'm getting that are pretty good. Like even there, I was pretty crushed, and I still had like 12, right? So yeah. If you want to make the argument that should be pure folded, I totally can get behind that. It really comes down to the fish. It's hard for calling to be that losing there though. Sorry about the little bit of lag. I was recording earlier and I restarted because the lag was getting bad, and it looks like the lag is just gonna stay. My PC is sucking. So here, for small blind flat, I think you can actually size up a little here. The question is, do we want to bet this hand? I think in general betting half ball here is fine versus recreational. You could definitely see the argument for checking. Gonna check, and gonna bet river if he checks for sure. Probably pick a big size as well. So I just don't think this guy is checking a 9 enough. I don't think he's calling non a 9. I mean, he might be calling non a 9 enough, but I think like the range that calls this card is not very strong by the river, unless it is a 9. Maybe a some 2 pair, but overall the bluffing is going to be very profitable. And I think generally versus weaker players, they're not defending their checks enough in general. So when they check, you can just oversize and just to make sure they fold. They're just very, very capped a lot of times in a node like that. But yeah, I'm gonna play. I got the 49ers game at 8. I'm a big 49ers fan, so let me know in the comments if anyone is. But yeah, should be a good game. Ace 9 is like pure ace 8's the breaking point where you start mixing. And this guy just picks a different 3-bet size every single hand. Last time he went 7.5, I forget with what. The next time he went, there he just went 9. Like, I don't know what he's doing. I'm sure I can read into it, but I'm not going to talk about it on a video because that would make me very exploitable. I probably shouldn't even have mentioned that. Here on the ace, I'd prefer to play this like a super big checking, over checking strategy. I am giving up some EV, but I think it's fine. I do want to study some of these lines more. How many times have I had 8-6 of clubs? Versus the 1/3 here, I just have to call. I mean, it's whatever. It is what it is. Like I'm expecting to see that 100% of the time, but it can't be losing that much money. I'm losing 1.6 more bigs than I would have lost. The only way I'm ever losing a lot is if I start folding hands like that. I'm gonna go to 12 here because he went to 2 instead of 13, and here I'm just gonna fold. Just trying to see if there was a reason to call, but he's just too short, I think, for me to bother calling. Here, definitely gonna float. On a 91, I think we should have raised with the double suit. I missed that, and I don't like 1/3 here too often for my opponent. I think it's fine, but I prefer to just simplify to bigger sizes. Out of position though, you do kind of need it. You can't get away with playing big better check as often. Yikes. I don't think the 10 of clubs I expect to be too much in my opponent's folding range. Normally the 10 of clubs here would be a pretty bad card to have. I'm just gonna make it 50, man. Yeah. Normally the 10 of clubs would be a pretty bad card for my opponent to have, but I think a lot of his 10 of clubs will bet him. Bet again. I don't think it's in too much of his check calling range. Instead of a hand like 10-9 of clubs or 10-7 of clubs. And the king is obviously great. And the 10 also blocks maybe some slow play Jack 10 arguably, or slow play 10-6. Plus the hands I mentioned there are not necessarily pure folds even, right? The hands with the 10 of clubs that I was just talking about. Because overall, I think you got to look at blockers from a realistic perspective. I'm just gonna fold versus 3x here, which is how you don't want to block your opponent's folding range and you want to block their calling range. And I just think in that specific node, the 10 of clubs is not really blocking that much of my opponent's folding range, and the king of hearts obviously blocking a lot of my opponent's calling range. Not to mention, I just don't think a lot of hands that are 1 pair or 2 pair even get called on that river, as almost everything hits. And I still wouldn't bluff double club hands though, because I'm not. And as far as the sizing goes, I didn't think too much about it. I felt like we didn't need to shove our hand. You don't want to shove a lot of our hands and polarize to just flushes, but I think could be wrong though. But that was my logic. With the overcall here and the 3x, I'm gonna squeeze the ace jack here. I could see doing it pure being a little costly, but also this guy's range is likely doing decent for mine, so maybe sizing up to 14 is fine. I expect this guy. I shouldn't talk about anything. Never mind. It's hard actually. I feel bad. So here it's big better check. With double good blocker, I don't mind just going with the 21 here. With the ace of hearts. I expect this to be very mucked. What I was going to say about this particular opponent is it's not too much. I was going to say he is relatively on the tighter side. I think he would even agree with that. And we got God here. Not gonna play some leveling war. He's gonna win the hand. You do actually have to build a checking range there, but I prefer to range bet them. I think they're. I haven't looked too much into it. I just feel like my opponents played bad versus it, but yeah, it was a recreational, which was the main reason that swung me into just betting small because I think he's overcalling. I do not want to check this back. That's an accident. That sucks. I'm just autopilot and I'm lagging for some reason. Yeah, that's stupid. Man. I don't know. I was like telling myself, no, don't lag. So here, what we 3-bet, check it back. I don't know. I don't know what's going on versus DJ Doc guy. I'm gonna bet we have the king of diamonds. Here on a 94, we'll 3-bet this. Let's go to 7 versus size he chose. Do not hit the card we want. Let's gonna bet a third here versus this guy. Gonna restab again with the gut shot, kind of. And not to mention, I think he has a lot of folds now. Let's see his hearts. All his like under pairs is 10x. So the question here is to check back and then bluff river, or do we just triple? I think I don't really see them both too much warning in tripling. It's a great river, obviously. If he bets small, we'll raise him because I don't think he's betting small with the flush. I don't think this is his flush sizing, so we're gonna raise. I think he also might raise the flop with the flush. If he rips over this, I'm just gonna fold. This might be too thin. But I think my line doesn't necessarily make the most sense. I checked the flush on the turn after betting on the flop. So I expect him to call a lot of his 2 pairs and sets. Not to mention, I just don't think he has a flush too often. I just think after check, he's not gonna bet half pot with a flush. That's my read. I think he sometimes even has a hand like 10-9. Granted, he's like 2 combos that we beat. Unless he has 10-9 off, because one of them's a flush, and the other one I block. Could argue smaller, lose less when he jams, if he calls more often. I could get behind that. But this seems like big enough that I'm trying to get my opponent to fold. But I don't know what I'm talking about sometimes, I'm pretty dumb. Bets sizes up here, interestingly. I just prefer calling here, but I could be. I wanted to raise here and then whatever. Now I'm kind of leveled. If he comes back and jams on me, I might have to just call because of the price I'm getting. And the fact that like he might think I raised him because he disconnected. And that's enough to sway me. I was gonna check raise here, but once I take this along, I'm just gonna whatever. Well, that DC might have costed us some money. People have disconnected when I've had like the nuts a couple times in a row versus me. But yeah, recreationals usually raise their stronger hands on the flop. Not to mention coupled with his river sides, it just determine that he's just, we're not beat enough ever. So what's the angle here? I don't mind check raise. I don't know. I feel like this river gets bluffed a good amount. When 2 overs come up and I called the flop on an 8, it's like, yeah. Damn. He had the 8. Expecting a fish to bluff is not necessarily the smartest thing. I was just hoping you maybe hit the 10 and you would get more money from check raising. I didn't think he had a flush draw because, I mean, you never know. Some fishes don't really bet it. But usually if he bets flop and then he picks it up, he usually fires again. Could have had the wrong read there, but that was the logic I was taking, and this might have been a little meh, but I guess it worked out. Yeah. Let me know also what you guys want to know more about. Do you want more theoretical stuff? Because I can do that. Haven't been studying as much, or would you guys prefer more of what I think determine makes the most money and less accurately like is the most unexploitable playstyle? Because obviously recording, it's easier to make theory content because I can just say, well, you're supposed to do this, this, and this for this reason, and then no one really gets that big of an edge off watching my content. Whereas if I'm talking more like this line's under bluffed, if this line's overfolded, yeah. Then someone can definitely determine what I might be thinking in a certain hand versus them. That being said, I think a little bit of both is always fine. Because I'm definitely not going to be a hard one or the other player. Either way. Definitely not hard exploitative. I'm not a magician. I decided to flat here. I don't know. I don't think it's profitable, but not that a reg that I think I can beat, and then a recreational, and I'm in position on both of them, so I decided to why not. I'm gonna if I had any sort of anything here, like spades or anything, I would have bet, or even an ability to backdoor straight. I'm gonna call here. I'm just gonna raise him here. I just think the block is so weak. Huh. I don't think he's ever checking a jack when there's a flush draw on the flop. Ugh. In theory, we're supposed to call here sometimes, or probably pretty often. In practice versus opponent, I'm just not gonna call here. Man. Damn. So I was a little wrong on my nitty read, I guess. I mean, I'm not really wrong. He definitely is nitty, but you see, that's why it's bad to determine too much. I mean, he just always has a pair there when he jams. Like fives is pretty much crushing us. So probably one of the worst pairs we could be up against. We'd rather be up against queens. Just because even when we hit our ace, he was still. Sorry, I'm getting a message on Discord. Because even when we hit our ace, like we did on the turn there, he would have had what 6 outs. Where if he when he has queens, he has like whatever, and vice versa. He has like more cards to kill us on the turn. I mean, we have the slight equity of like if an 8 comes off, then a 6 can come off and help us. But yeah. Normally I like to go to 26 here, but I'll go to 24 when he goes to 10. Just a better strategy. He floats like he's a super user. Who's he talking about? Not a good start here. Gonna need a 10. Nice. Who's he talking about? There's no he's talking about me. I've typed to this guy. Imagine he's talking about me. That'd be hilarious. Sorry, I got a bit distracted. I have ADHD. getting real personal with my viewers. But yeah, just let me know what type of videos you guys would like to see. I'm a bit rusty. I haven't been playing too much, but I've been upswinging really hard, which is good. Down like 2,000 today. I might be a little up. I don't know if I'm up in this video or not. I usually don't even know my results while I'm recording. Oh, I'm talking about real feels, which is someone here probably. I've played with him. I'm here, Queen 9. I guess we'll call. I think it's close. Definitely have to be careful with how much you're defending your big blind. Here, I think it was the 4x. We're just gonna make it 10. Maybe we could even go smaller. I'm gonna go smaller here as well. There's basically no bad cards for us, except those couple cards. I think I will be reviewing some hands in the description though. These videos I've been trying to get back into studying a little more. So here the question is if overvote's good or not. I'm gonna check it. Yeah, I just think he's two-weighted ace-x, so he doesn't have enough auto folds in his range. That's one thing about players you have to be careful about. When they don't have enough auto folds in their range, it's just like bluffing becomes a little unappealing. Been recording for 22 minutes now. I feel like nothing's happened. But yeah, just trying to put out these videos. I'm gonna put out one in a week, and I'm gonna go watch the game, and then later I'm gonna be like 12 tabling. So I'm not gonna play heads up on stream. Let me know. Am I buttoning this guy? I gotta check. My computer's lagging, so it's being annoying. So no, this is my button. I just played my big blind and my small, so I can leave right here. I just paid my big blind, right? And he just paid his. All is fair. if I'm doing this wrong, I'm not trying to grim him, but pretty sure I'm leaving on my button, which is about as fair as it gets. Or not leaving on my button, but this should be my button, and I'm leaving. Actually, wait, maybe that's fucking him over. I don't know. Why would I pay two big blinds? He pays one. That doesn't make sense to me. I just played my big blind. And I'm like net rolling this guy over here. Say I'm net rolling him, but he's never bluffing. I actually think I could probably fold that spot, to be honest. Sorry, I'm getting distracted on my other monitor. But yeah, gonna be getting a new microphone soon as well. Hopefully, some better videos. Here, in this particular spot, I'm gonna be checking for, versus a fish though. Obviously versus a reg, we'd probably check this hand pure. But versus a recreational, I don't mind just betting. If we get raised, probably just fold. Still don't mind versus recreationals keeping it a little fair, like not fair, a little standard, because there is logic behind why you play theoretical, right? It's not just to be like, oh, whatever, but I mean, checking aces there makes a lot of sense. Getting 3 streets of value from it is pretty hard. Performs really bad on almost every run out, so putting him a lot of money before you see the run out is pretty. Just this pot size bet. I just don't really like calling pot size bets from fish. In that line, I have no reason to call that hand. Did I open queen it off there? That's a pretty flop mistake. I don't care how fishy the game is. Ah, on the button. I thought I opened it on the cutoff. Never mind, that is fine. Damn, that's about as bad as a flop as it gets. I might consider check folding here, because I doubt there's anything. Yeah. So yeah, that's the issue. If I played 4 tables, there would already be like some dead action. But what I would do is I would talk about hands that I'm not in, or taking a part of. And now he goes to 8, so he's gone to 7, 9, and 8 versus me. Here versus the fish. I mean, normally our hand's supposed to pure fold. Actually, I mean, we could 4-bet it. I'm gonna 4-bet it for the video. It's lower. It's definitely not on a 20, so this is a mistake. But or not. It's a frequency error. But normally I don't do it. So there's times I've rolled a 90 and haven't. So it all evens out. We block ace-8 suited. Not really relevant. He shouldn't really call it. But just in case he was being a spaz. We block queens. Half pot on this flop just makes sense. Damn, we flopped the giga nuts. I'm gonna let him. I just like betting this type of spot. I could see the argument for checking. We get raised. That's definitely raising him back. Or do we just call and then raise turn? Because he could be punting. Here in position, just gonna call. Did he hit the queen is the question. Like, was he bluffing and then hit the queen? Here, I'm just gonna bet a normal size here. I expect him to have a lot of 2-spade hands that are too tilted to fold. I had the right read. I hate the tank check, but whatever. I realize checking here, I think it's just better. Okay, I guess ace 3. The reason why I tank check is I just think he either has a lot of bluffs or he hit the queen, and I think he's going to reopen the queen enough, so I'll go for the check raise hand. Check raise line. But the tank check, it's like, yeah, probably deters people from bluffing. I mean, for me, it's the opposite. If someone tank checks and it's like a reg, I think they're leveling me, but I think most of the time a recreational thinks more linearly like with stuff like that. That being said, I don't think he was going to call that hand. And I was not going to block bet because I don't think it's getting raised enough ever as a bluff. So I would have bet a bigger size, and I do not think he's calling that. The only time I will block bet generally versus fish. I mean, here we're supposed to like check range, but the board's pretty wet. Damn. Gonna bet again here. He's gonna have a lot of 10-9, 9-8. Okay, hopefully he doesn't have 9-8. I think we just go all in here, right? And hope he has 1-9, like 10-9, whatever. If he had 9-8, he probably raised his flop. Or do we check? Actually, checking might make more sense. Like, unless he has exactly 10-8. He could have an 8, and we lose money, but an 8's not calling a shove anyway, so why don't we just check? Thank God I thought that one through, eh? Because the 9's always going to reopen, and he has a lot of misdraws. So what's the point of shoving a 9? To get called by a 9, unless he's ever going to check a 9 back, which he's not, so. But yeah, little things like that are some stuff I might miss while 12 tabling, which I realize drastically hits your win rate, right? I think that's got to be on like average at least a 15 red one mistake to bet that river versus a fish there in that line for all the reasons I was saying. Maybe 15's too much, but I mean if he's bluffing everything he misses, then it's definitely not too much. But I mean from his perspective it makes sense. I really did rep like aces, kings, queens, jacks, so I don't blame him for bluffing. I think that's a especially with his image. I don't think I would have called an overpair ever. So you're just unlucky you ran into fours.